We've gone through many cultural and musical changes in recent years, but some things seem to stand the test of time. While new genres come and go, some historic bands are still alive, releasing albums, touring, and maintaining a unique connection with their fans. It's impressive to think that more than 5 decades after their formation, they are still active. Check out the following: 10 rock bands over 50 years old that are still on the road. Kansas. Formed in the United States in the early 1970s, Kansas quickly stood out for mixing progressive rock with hard rock elements. The band gained notoriety with elaborate arrangements, complex compositions, and lyrics that flirted with philosophy and spirituality. From the start, they established themselves as one of the most respected groups in the American scene. The album Leftoverture was a major turning point, featuring the anthem Carry On, Wayward Son, which is still one of the most played songs on classic rock radio and playlists today. Shortly after, the album Point of No Return solidified the band's fame with the ballad Dust in the Wind, which crossed generations and became a landmark in global music. Dust in the wind, all they are is dust. Despite lineup changes, Kansas never stopped playing. Over the decades, they continued to release albums and perform worldwide, always with energetic shows full of nostalgia for their fans. This persistence has allowed the group to maintain a loyal fan base. One of Kansas's most notable feats is having navigated different musical waves without losing their identity. Even when progressive rock wasn't in vogue, they kept going, adjusting their repertoire but maintaining their essence. This has ensured their longevity and respect within the scene. Today, more than 50 years later, the band remains active, touring and celebrating their history with new generations of fans. They were a clear example of how talent, dedication, and a love for music can sustain a career for so long. Can I tell you something? Got to tell you one thing. CAMEL. The skies is white horse fly. Founded in England in 1971, CAMEL became one of the great names in progressive rock. Unlike other groups in the genre, the band always valued smooth melodies and refined instrumentals, creating almost cinematic atmospheres. This distinct approach won them a loyal following around the world. Among their most remembered works is The Snow Goose, a conceptual instrumental album inspired by the book of the same name by Paul Gallico. The album became a classic, elevating CAMEL to the status of an artistic reference in prog rock. Other albums, such as Mirage and Moon Madness, also became essential for fans of the genre. Although they didn't achieve the same commercial success as bands like Pink Floyd or Yes, CAMEL has always remained relevant due to their musical quality. Guitarist Andrew Latimer's ability to create striking melodies was crucial to the group's identity. facing periods of Latimer's delicate health, CAMEL never completely stopped. The band reinvented itself, released new albums, and, although more rarely, continues to perform on special occasions, demonstrating strength and resilience in the face of difficulties. Today, CAMEL is revered as a cult legend and attracts fans from various generations. The fact that they are still active after 54 years is an admirable feat, reinforcing the group's role as a guardian of elegance in progressive rock. AEROSMITH. Formed in Boston in 1970, AEROSMITH conquered the world with their high-energy, high-attitude hard rock. Led by the charismatic Steven Tyler and guitarist Joe Perry, the Toxic Twins became one of rock's most iconic duos, giving the band an unmistakable identity. In the 1970s, albums like Toys in the Attic and Rocks helped write the history of American hard rock. Songs like Dream On, Sweet Emotion, and Walk This Way not only defined the band, but also marked popular culture, remaining relevant for decades. The 1980s were turbulent, with drug problems and internal rifts, but AEROSMITH made a triumphant comeback. The re-release of Walk This Way in collaboration with Run DMC opened the doors to a new generation of fans, while albums like Permanent Vacation and Pump put the group back on top of the charts. As the years passed, AEROSMITH continued to thrive, touring the world and releasing hits. Few bands can remain relevant through so many different phases of the music market, but they always found ways to reinvent themselves without losing their essence. "55 years after their formation, AEROSMITH remains a legend, but their future on the road is currently uncertain due to Steven Tyler's health issues. Their journey, however, is undeniable proof of passion and persistence. ZZ Top. Born in Texas in 1969, ZZ Top quickly made a name for themselves with their mix of blues, rock, and boogie. The classic lineup with Billy Gibbons, Dusty Hill, and Frank Beard remained virtually unchanged for over 5 decades, a rarity in the world of rock. The band became known for both their characteristic sound and their iconic look, with the long beards of Gibbons and Hill. During the 1970s, albums like Tres Hombres and Fandango introduced classics like La Grange and Tush to the world. These songs cemented the group's raw and vibrant style, rooted in Texas blues, but with the energy of hard rock.
1980s, ZZ Top found a new phase of success with the album Eliminator, which brought hits like Sharp Dressed Man and Legs. With the help of striking music videos shown on MTV, the band reached an even larger audience and became a reference in rock of that decade. Even after Dusty Hill's death in 2021, ZZ Top didn't stop. The group continued with bassist Elwood Francis, honoring Hill's own wish for the band to carry on. This commitment to the road shows the resilience and passion that have always defined the trio. Today, ZZ Top continues to bring their unmistakable blues rock to stages around the world. 56 years later, the group remains a symbol of authenticity and longevity in rock. HAWKWIND. HAWKWIND was formed in London in 1969 and is considered the great pioneer of so-called space rock. The band, led by Dave Brock, always explored psychedelic, futuristic, and experimental sounds, creating a unique identity that set them apart from all other groups of the time.
Einstein was not a handsome fellow. Nobody ever called him out.
In the 1970s, the album Space Ritual became a fundamental work of progressive and psychedelic rock. It was also during this period that the legendary Lemmy Kilmister was part of the group before founding Motorhead. This phase helped solidify HAWKWIND's reputation as a band ahead of its time. Although never a band of big commercial hits, HAWKWIND built an extremely loyal fan base. This legion of admirers kept the group relevant over the decades, always ensuring an audience for their performances. The constant lineup changes never stopped the band from moving forward. Dave Brock's perseverance was crucial for HAWKWIND to remain active, releasing albums and touring worldwide. Few prog groups have managed to maintain this pace for so long. Today, after more than 55 years, HAWKWIND continues to explore new sonic territories in occasional performances, proving that creativity and an experimental spirit have no expiration date. They are a true living legend of prog rock. That changed music forever. Check out our list of albums released in 1972 that continue to influence artists and fans around the world. Click on the card at the top of your screen. URIAH HEEP. Formed in London in 1969, URIAH HEEP is considered one of the pillars of British hard rock, alongside Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. Their sound combines heavy riffs with progressive elements and powerful vocals, creating a unique sound that set them apart from the beginning. album Demons and Wizards was a milestone in the band's career, featuring classics like Easy Livin'. This album solidified the group internationally and helped shape the aesthetic of 70s hard rock, which influenced countless other bands. Among their most important members who have passed away are David Byron, the original vocalist and distinctive voice of the Golden Age, bassist Gary Thayne, keyboardist and composer Ken Hensley, and drummer Lee Kerslake, also remembered for his work on Ozzy Osbourne's albums. They all left a fundamental legacy on the band's identity. Despite these painful losses, the group never left the road. With Mick Box, the founding guitarist and true heart of URIAH HEEP, the band has remained active, recording albums and touring continuously, winning over new generations of fans, without forgetting their heroes of the past.
There I was, on a Jew.
More than half a century later, URIAH HEEP is still going strong, celebrating their journey with new albums and tours. This persistence, even after so many changes and farewells, has earned the band respect even from those who didn't follow their career closely, making them a true icon of classic rock. Nazareth. Nazareth was formed in Scotland in 1968 and quickly gained a place on the British hard rock scene. The band built its reputation with a straightforward sound, striking riffs, and contagious energy, which made them a favorite on stages across Europe and North America.
Every single day, I think of the time.
One of the great highlights of their career is the album Hair of the Dog, which included the title track and the ballad Love Hurts. The latter, although a cover, became the group's biggest success and is still remembered today as a classic of romantic rock. Over the years, Nazareth has remained true to their musical style, releasing albums and touring the world. Although they never reached the same commercial level as hard rock giants, they built a solid fan base that follows the band to this day. Their journey also had significant losses, such as that of vocalist Dan McCafferty, who had the raspy, unmistakable voice that helped define Nazareth's identity. He stepped away from the band in 2013 due to health problems, and his death in 2022 deeply affected fans. But the group continued to be active, respecting the legacy he helped build. 57 years after its founding, Nazareth is still on the road, showing that their music still has the power to move audiences of different generations. They are a true example of perseverance and passion for rock.
I'm drinking sweet champagne, got the headphones up high. Can't dump you, can't drop you.
Chicago.
In the park, every day.
Founded in 1967 as The Big Thing, the group changed its name to Chicago Transit Authority in 1968 and the following year shortened it to Chicago as it became known worldwide. The band quickly stood out for their bold proposal of mixing rock with a strong brass section. This combination gave rise to a unique sound that produced hits in rock, pop, and even jazz rock.
Wouldn't wanna be swept away. If you leave me now, you'll take away.
In the 1970s, the group released a series of hugely successful albums, including Chicago 2, which brought classics like 25 or 6 to 4. The mix of sophisticated arrangements with rock energy made Chicago one of the biggest names on the radio at the time.
As I was walking down the street,
The band also went through the 1980s with hits from unforgettable ballads such as Hard to Say I'm Sorry and You're the Inspiration. This ability to reinvent themselves without losing their essence was crucial to keeping the group on top through such musically distinct decades. Even with lineup changes over the years, including the loss of important musicians like guitarist Terry Kath in 1978, Chicago has always maintained its distinctive style. Their resilience in the face of adversity showed the group's commitment to their music and their fans. Today, Chicago continues to tour and is recognized as one of the most enduring and successful bands in history. 58 years later, their repertoire still echoes in packed shows and as the soundtrack to many people's lives.
up in the air. No, I will make it up to you. I promise.
Scorpions. Founded in Germany in 1965, Scorpions is considered one of the most important European hard rock and heavy metal groups. Their powerful and melodic sound paved the way for German rock to gain a global presence.
Your way back home. Follow the Moskva down to Gorky Park.
In the 1970s and 1980s, the band released fundamental albums like Love Drive, Blackout, and Love at First Sting. It was during this phase that classics like Rocky Like a Hurricane, Still Loving You, and No One Like You were born, which are still among the most played rock songs today.
Wise man said, just walk this way to the dawn.
One of the most remarkable moments of their career came in 1990 with Wind of Change, a ballad that became a symbol of the end of the Cold War. The song transcended borders and solidified Scorpions as one of the biggest bands on the planet.
Rock you like a hurricane, dream away in the wind of change.
Despite lineup changes and even retirement announcements that never came to fruition, Scorpions remain strong. Vocalist Klaus Meine and guitarist Rudolf Schenker remain charismatic leaders, ensuring the continuity of the group's identity.
The rhythm of love is a game I'm looking for. The rhythm of here I am. When you said I would try to change.
60 years later, Scorpions continues to pack arenas worldwide and release new albums. Their persistence and relevance prove that the spirit of rock has no expiration date.
Distant memories.
The Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones were formed in London in 1962 and have become one of the greatest names in rock history, still active. Led by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, the group helped shape the British rock scene in the 1960s, solidifying themselves as one of the most influential forces in world music.
Never get to school, I'm happy. Never blew a second chance.
The band's first phase brought classics like the singles I Can't Get No Satisfaction and Paint It Black, which propelled iconic albums like Out of Our Heads and Aftermath. In the 1970s, the Stones had their golden era, with iconic albums like Sticky Fingers and Exile on Main Street, which are still a reference in rock today.
Sweet Virginia, you make me grow and cry. You make me grow and cry.
Over the decades, the Rolling Stones have faced changes and significant losses, such as the untimely death of Brian Jones in 1969, and more recently of drummer Charlie Watts in 2021, one of the pillars of the group's sound. Even so, Jagger, Richards, and Ronnie Wood carried on, keeping the band's essence alive.
Yes, I'll stand by your flame.
With each generation, the Stones have won over new audiences. Their grandiose shows have become cultural events, and Mick Jagger's energy on stage, even at over 80 years old, is something that impresses fans and critics. Few artists have managed to reinvent themselves so many times without losing their identity as they have.
I can't get no satisfaction. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
63 years after their formation, the Rolling Stones are still releasing new albums and embarking on sold-out world tours. Their longevity, charisma, and cultural impact are incomparable, making them not just a band, but a true heritage of rock history. These bands have shown that rock is much more than a musical style. It's resilience, passion, and a way to connect with different generations. At the end of 2025, seeing groups that were formed over half a century ago still active and releasing new works is simply inspiring. They have gone through market changes, new trends, and even the loss of important members. Some continue to pack arenas, others are keeping their flame alive at special events, but all of them prove that true music has no expiration date. If you also have stories with any of these bands, share them in the comments. It would be amazing to exchange memories with you. And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to follow our next productions. Rock is still pulsing, and these legends are the greatest proof of that. See you soon!